Hey, it's Jente and Dries from the History Hikers. We're hiking the GRP Mont de Vaucluse.
A hike filled with historical places, beautiful nature and plenty of adventure.
It's gonna be awesome. Let's go. And to start us off, this is the view from the starting point. Pretty epic. Next to a church. Romanesque church and closed. Sadly closed. It is finally happening. We have commenced our first multi-day trek. It will see us do a loop through the Mont de Vaucluse Massif, which is home to some of the most stunning natural scenes and picturesque villages that Le Provence has to offer. You can rent out a book on biochemistry. If ever I wanted to read biochemistry, it would be now.
This Grand Randonnée de Pays, or GRP in short, is 66 kilometers in total. As this was our first long-distance hike with a full backpack, we decided it was best to take it easy and do it in 5 days. That also lined up perfectly with each stopping point being around 15 kilometers apart from each other.
So Mont de Vaucluse is home to a castle which used to belong to the family of the famous Marquis de Sade. Unfortunately, it's not accessible and our only option is to gaze at it through the iron bars.
Soon we left the town of Saumon behind and entered the wilderness of the Vaucluse Mountains, our scenery for the next 5 days.
Whereas a more well-known Grand Randonnée, or GR, is marked by red and white stripes, the GRPs are marked by yellow and red stripes. Signage was actually really good throughout the hike, something you've come to expect from the French routes. It's important to check the map once in a while to make sure you take the right turns, as there are multiple GRPs running through these mountains. What you looking at? Whoa. It's a good view.
The countryside is crisscrossed by dozens and dozens of kilometers of dry stone walls that line the paths. The ancient craft to turn the abundance of stones into a solid construction without the need of cement is almost lost to history. The locals work to conserve these structures as they are part of the identity and heritage of the region.
The first part of our journey was marked by a continuous climb in a hot May sun. We hoped we'd be able to enjoy some nice weather, but temperatures were easily tickling the 30 degrees Celsius mark, which is more than warm enough for us. So apparently our yellow and red should go to the right, but whatever I found on the internet goes to this way. So we'll do that. And after climbing all that way, we suddenly have to dramatically descend. So the GR6, that's probably from the Atlantic to the Mediterranean or whatever.
I don't know, but wow.
Wow. Very nice rock. And this was totally not put in scene or prepped by us. It's very genuine. Whoa! Wow. So genuine.
But it's genuinely nice. And that rock is too.
Holy shoot.
Ah! Nature!
Nature!
Our trail would lead us through this rocky and lush landscape until we stumbled upon the Fontaine de Saint-Jean, an indicator we were nearing his sanctuary.
A chill spot. Een bron. Little source / chapel thing. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. This was one of the most stunning parts of our hike. We were close to the edge of a cliff and surrounded by these dramatic rock faces and incredible views.
The dramatic cliffside path would make way for an idyllic valley, and soon enough we encountered the sanctuary. Here they honor Saint Jean, who made a spring of water gush out of his finger. Each year, a pilgrimage from the nearby town of Monteux to the sanctuary is undertaken to honor him.
A good spot to eat lunch next to the Hermitage. While walking these ancient paths, we felt really connected with this land and its history. The trails have long been traveled on foot, on muleback or by cart. They were often the only means of communication between villages, farms, hamlets, places of worship, mills, springs, and also the only access to cultivated land in the hills.
Our day 1 hike was far from over. In fact, we were just over halfway. The trail moved on towards the towns of La Roque-sur-Perne and afterwards Le Bosset. In La Roque-sur-Perne, we saw some traces of its historical past, though we couldn't quite pin what it was from.
Le Bosset is home to a castle high on top of the hill, but because it was so warm, we were tired, and we also had still quite a lot of ground to cover to make it to our destination, we decided not to visit. Instead, we trudged along and found ourselves on an interesting little path. Different animals were intricately sculpted using pebbles. Can you recognize them all?
Eventually we caught sight of our destination, Venasque, a town perched on top of a rocky promontory surrounded by a lush green landscape. It seemed idyllic, but still far away.
We were so close now. Just one last climb stood between us and a refreshing plunge into the hotel pool, a hot shower and clean clothes. But first we visited the church and we had to try out a local delicacy. A treat at the end of the day. La Tour Sarrazin. Welcome to day 2.
Where we'll be hiking from Venasque to Murs.
Let's go. And we're starting at La Tour de Sarrazin, which to me sounds like this is from the Saracens, but probably not true. Whoa! Ooh. Hey. Oh. This would have been handy yesterday. Free water. And the kitty cat. Bye-bye. On we go.
We realize we haven't shown much of the town of Venasque, despite it being one of the most beautiful and picturesque villages in the region. Its location on top of the rocky outcrop is as marvelous as the panorama that unfolds as you walk along the edge of town. The trail wound down from the hill, and with a few unexpected detours, we found ourselves in the very same orchard that was home to the delicious cherries we ate the day before.
The heat was already letting itself be felt as we hiked along a dried up riverbed. Soon enough the trail entered the river itself, and we were walking on top of that very same riverbed. Now we were thankful for the dry weather. The bed of uneven stones and the trees that fell down during recent storms caused us to sometimes grind down to a snail's pace. We didn't care though, we were savoring the experience. got a little conundrum here. How to get through. Thinking over the side. Somehow. Not stable.
Here you
Can't believe I made that. We made it. On to the next obstacle. It's important to stay hydrated. Santé.
Before we well and truly realized, the dried up riverbed has led us straight into a canyon. We enjoyed the cool temperatures and birdsong that accompanied us along. Somehow, the claustrophobic nature of hiking in a canyon can also be a very peaceful experience. It was also the perfect place for a short break. This is the point we climb, and we don't stop climbing until we get there. Huzzah! Huzzah! Yes, an intense and grueling ordeal awaited us. In a heat you might come to expect from southern France, we climbed and climbed and climbed, and admittedly didn't film very much. So we just had lunch. It was rehydrated tomato Soup.
And pepper soup with little bow tie pastas. And you like it?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Pretty nutritious. I don't know what I'm saying.
It's now time for the second half of this journey, but we're still climbing. I don't know if you can see it, but in the distance There's another very steep road like this, which I believe is going to be our road.
Yay!
More sunshine, no shade. Woo!
Eventually, we did reach the peak, the Col de Murs.
Did it, Mom?
Skadoosh!
Skadoosh! Please give us a speech.
We have finally reached the Col de Murs. It was a gruesome endeavor, but we made it and we're very proud. Now it was just a matter of hiking the last few kilometers to the town of Murs, which is a quiet, small place without a lot going on.
The home stretch. Good morning. It's time for day 3. We're going from
Murs?
to Gordes. Let's take you along. And Murs, or Murs as they say here, also has a castle. Whoops. But we can't visit it. Okay, this is the point where you notice the video is already 34 minutes long. We're at day 3 of what should be 5 days, and there's only 5 or so minutes left in the video. Let's address the elephant in the room. We sadly were unable to finish this hike. Our outro discusses the bit, but we don't really do it justice, so let's just talk about it here.
About halfway through day 3, I misplaced my foot on the flattest ground possible in the Vaucluse. I still injured my ankle, however. In childhood, I have suffered a severed ligament more than once, and this time the pain felt very similar. We paused and rested, but the damage was done. I knew I was going to be unable to make it through the rest of the day, which was actually going to feature hiking through another canyon.
walked along the street to Gordes, where we had booked a hotel and tended to the injury with ice and rest. However, the next day it was obvious that hiking for 2 more days just wasn't going to happen. We took a taxi back to our car and headed home to see a doctor.
We were devastated, but determined to come back stronger than ever. These 3 days lumbering through the wild with severely overpacked backpacks, surrounded by amazing scenery and the fragrance of rosemary and thyme, were some of the best days of hiking we have ever done. We hope to share more long-distance hikes in the future, and then they will be successful.
We're back at the car, but not in the way we expected to be.
I have fallen and need medical attention, sadly, so we'll be ending the hike right now.
We'll see you soon on a different and another adventurous hike. Bye.